Hey, good Thursday evening to you. How the heck is everybody doing? It's good to see you. It's good to be seen by you. I am Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver. How is everyone this evening? I hope you are doing just absolutely fantastic. As I am, everything is awesome. I want to start the show off right now. Immediately, I want to start this show off by giving thanks and a shout out to a guy who has been on my show as a guest, who I successfully cyber stalked into hanging out with me, and who actually turns out to be a pretty decent fellow. And his wonderful and lovely wife. I'm speaking, of course, of friend of the show, occasional guest, and founding TSR employee. He was there at the beginning, folks. He was there at the beginning. But even if he wasn't, he'd still be an awesome guy. I'm talking about Tracy Lesh. Thank you so much, Tracy. You know what you did. You know what you did. And I can't thank you enough, really. It was an awesome thing. It was an awesome thing, and I thank him for that. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Of course, last night we played some classic Trav. That was a lot of fun. Kyle at the helm playing some classic first edition Traveler. Good evening, GR, Alan Canning, Ian, Doomsword, Robert Phillips, Jack, Photon. I see you wish you were here for tonight. Well, when you watch the replay, you'll hear your shout out. But yeah, no, I have been more than a little bit busy today. I don't have but about half, maybe 2/3 of the stuff that I have to talk to you guys about, even out of the car. There's probably still 100 pounds or more of books. And when you make as many trips into out of the house with double armloads of hardback RPG books, you tend to measure it in weight and not in terms of number of books. And there's so much stuff, and it is all courtesy of Volcano God. Now, here's the thing with it, and I'm gonna be showing you guys a little tiny bit of it tonight. Just some images. I'll be holding some stuff up. But I just want you to get an idea of the scale. Volcano God lives for the next 3 days, 4 days in my neck of the woods. I have known VG now for 13 years, 14 years. It's been a minute or two. And in that time here in the Sunshine State, he has acquired a massive RPG collection. But, you know, to quote the great Paul Bear Bryant, Mama called. And so he is returning to the motherland. He is returning to the heartland of America, and we wish him well. And the beauty of this thing we're doing here, I mean, even 8-9 years ago, confirmed video conference just for plebs was not necessary. I mean, you know, you could have some hiccups and some chop. Now it's just like, I want to talk to a guy, bip, boom, and you're talking to them. This, of course, is the international sign language for internet communications with people. Anyway, so while I'll miss him, I'll be able to just reach out. I mean, it's not 1850, folks. It's not like I'll write him a letter in September and I should hear back from him. November of next year? No. I mean, I'll miss the hanging out. But that's what I've always pushed, guys, with the show, with the reality of what we do as being, very easy to accomplish over the internet. The fellowship, the connectivity. So he is heading up, and he's not really wanting to take 350 or 400 kilograms of RPG books with him. Now, let me tell you what, he's taking the core, the classic AD&D stuff, OD&D, basic D&D, that's all going with him. And I told him, because there's some rarities. You guys are going to see some interesting stuff in the coming weeks. I told him that if you wanted me to take the stuff, I didn't say, hey, you're moving up to Chicago. Why don't you leave all your gaming stuff with me? He was like, he came to me. He came to me. Okay, I just want you guys to know that. Above board. Greetings, Adam Black. Haven't seen you in a while, brother. So he came to me and he said, I want you to take this stuff off my hands. But I gave him the caveat. The true rarities, and folks, you're going to see some interesting stuff. I said, look, I am hanging on to that for you. You get settled in. You dig your roots back in. You spread your branches again. You get over that root shock of transplant. You say the word, and I'm sending you the lovelies. So, to quote the man, Bilbo Baggins, I am not trying to rob you. So I'm going to show you guys just a few of the treasures, and a lot of this we're going to be able to do deep dives on. So Volcano God, thank you for the content. Thank you for the content. So even if this all goes back to him, we'll still get a look at it. We'll still get a chance to get a look at it. And more content and more deep dives. Like, for example, and I don't think I even have a picture of this. I got pictures of stuff I'm going to show you all, as well as some stuff that's sitting down over here. But there's some odds and ends that are just super fascinating, and among them, now you guys can see over my shoulder, I've got the B1, 2, and S3. Well, he's got all those Goodman releases so far, and of course, he was the provider of the T1 to 4 superset there, which we've kind of talked about a little bit. We'll look at it when we deep dive T1, the Village of Hamlet. Sadly, Robert, there's no Arduin Grimoire in there. There's no Arduin, unless there is, because again, I want to be crystal clear. He kept the lovelies, okay? I would have felt weird. It's like I've told you guys before, I have owned a stack of over a dozen unexpurgated deities and demigods. And he purchased one from me back in the day. If he had just said, take this back, I would have said, no, you find a place for that. Put it in a suitcase, stick it in your glove box next to your Rand McNally roadmap or something. So none of that truly awesome rare stuff. I have plenty of awesome stuff, but none of that awesome stuff stayed here with me. So he might have some Arduin Grimoire, because he was like, okay, these 2 shelves, leave these, this shelf, leave that, the rest of that take. So that's what I have. But I'm thinking over on this wall over here, where you guys used to see me, I was like, oh, I'm going to put up the Lord of the Rings mural. That's going to have to be bookshelves. I think I'm going to need a bookshelf for this stuff because I don't want to live with piles of stuff all over my floor. I mean, I spent an entire week. I spent like a Wednesday to a Monday nonstop trying to get this room in shape, in as shape as it can be. CSIO, yes, there is. Praxis asks, any Judges Guild city states so far? You betcha. You betcha. And we're gonna deep dive that. There's so much content in these boxes. I got a wood grain swords and wizardry box. Let me restate that: wood grain swords and wizardry, not AD&D, but swords and wizardry. But it's still cool. It's still very cool. It captures that, you know. It captures it. Speaking of cool things, a couple of cool things, show related. And then I'm going to show off a few things, and I hope I can do this. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. But anyway, show related, and then we'll jump back to this. First of all, between Tuesday and Wednesday, first of all, Tuesday night's AD&D live stream was seen by 2,230 viewers at last count. I don't know where YouTube threw my video up at. Guys, for a little while last night, I was trending on YouTube. For a certain set of keywords that I usually put in my videos: D&D, AD&D, TTRPG, RPG, tabletop role-playing games, Let's Play, Gygax, Greyhawk, and so on, that I put in there because they let me put them in there. I was trending on YouTube, and it showed. So if you are one of those almost 70 people who subbed to the channel, first of all, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I hope you find your time here enjoyable. If once again I am being spun up on the algorithm and you're just seeing this for the first time and you're like, what is this handsome, erudite, well-spoken devil on about? Click that subscribe button. Click that bell icon for notifications. Stick around and find out. And I thank all of you folks who've joined up to listen, because I do this 5 nights a week. Okay. I've got a co-host on Wednesday night who runs a kick-ass Traveler game. I run AD&D on Tuesday nights. Monday nights and Thursday nights I reserve for guests or to just do deep dives on classic modules. And then Friday night we split the difference because I got content in the front and I got content in the back. The content in the front is just some free thinking talk stuff like this. And then in the back, guess what? Gamma World. That's right. Get your mutant on every Friday night, 9:30 Eastern. So thank you all very much for joining in. Imperial Ramblings, it's good to see you. Adam Black, thank you so much. I was internet famous for a little while, Doomsword and Praxis. Steve Marsh's Saga, Age of Heroes. No TSR mini games, but there are mini games, and I'm going to get to those in just a minute. I got one other internet business related thing to discuss with you guys, and it's not my business. My buddy, the Dungeon Minister, is currently sitting. I'm looking over at my editing PC because I got his browser. I got my browser open over there. He is currently sitting at 891 subs. So let's say you're one of those 60 or 70 people that subbed last night. There's another member of our old school gaming community out here, the Dungeon Minister. All right. He does short form. He doesn't like talk for 3 hours without shutting up like I do. He does short form videos about basic and expert Dungeons and Dragons. He does these great little summaries of the campaign that he's currently running, and he shows off and demonstrates crafting stuff. So like you want dungeon terrain, you watch my videos, you're like, damn, that Dwarven Forge looks good. You know, y'all got any more of that Dwarven Forge? And then you see the price, and you're like, whoa. Dungeon Minister has done some amazing stuff for pennies. I don't mean pennies if you factor out the cost of a 3D printer and temper paint and the hours. I mean, no, literally, like he does. He makes heavenly magic with tabletop terrain, just with the simplest of materials. So right now, if you are subbed to my channel, subscribe to the Dungeon Minister's channel and help get him to 1,000 subs so he can start doing cool stuff with his channel on YouTube that I have been able to do for a few months. So please, please, please go subscribe to the Dungeon Minister. If you love classic Dungeons and Dragons, if you love somebody who's got a really erudite and funny presentation style, let me tell you what. Dungeon Minister was in my AD&D game at the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention that we had just back in June. He played a magic user, and the voices this guy does for his character, oh my God, I was rolling. So please, please, please go subscribe to the Dungeon Minister channel. All right, that's it. That is enough nonsense about metrics and all that crap. Let's start talking about cool things. First of all, I don't have my little camera set up because I'm a bonehead. I did like the lead in for this video this morning. I was like, haha, I'm so clever. I'm so clever. And then I forgot to set up my little camera. So holding up things is, you know, but I had said a few weeks, well, I'd said some months ago that I really wanted some of the artisanal dice that a fellow makes. He's got his own dice shop over on Facebook, and I think he's on Etsy. Like I don't know about Etsy, but Threshold Dice Works is who he is. Hey, speak of the angel and he'll appear, the Dungeon Minister. Threshold Dice Works is who he is on Facebook, and he does, amongst many other dice projects, reproductions of Holmes dice. So I couldn't resist. I nerded out and I got myself a set of Holmes D&D dice. Now I have a lovely set given me by Volcano God that I colored in, and they're awesome too. But I just had to give Threshold a little bit of the money that you guys helped me make. So we have a red orange D6, a nice fat blue D12, a D8, a D4 that I think if you stepped on this, it would not only gouge your foot, it would just continue to travel until it came out the top of your head. That's how sharp it is. And of course, a two-sided D20. We won't say anything too shocking, Dungeon Minister. Looks like a bag of pills. I'll try and get them close. You know what? I'll stand up because these are very tiny, but I'll walk these over to the camera. Like I said, I should have had my little webcam set up so I could go, ooh, look at that. But I didn't. So I'll bring them to you. So there you go. There's your Holmes D&D dice. And Threshold does runs of these. If you look up Threshold Dice Works on Etsy or on Facebook, you can find when he does when he does print runs of these. This one started right after the first of the year, and I just got these, so I would imagine. I'm not speaking for the guy. I'm not at all. But I mean, maybe he'll do another set in November or December. I don't know. But check him out. Oh, Luther, avail yourself, brother. Go hit him up. Threshold Dice Works. Like I said, Etsy or Facebook. And get yourself a set, man. Get yourself some Holmes dice. He has colored and uncolored dice, and I got the pre-colored ones. Although in retrospect, I wish I had gotten the colored ones, so I could have done the D20 like half red and half black to use it not only as a percentile die, but as a D20. Don't be sad, Luther. Go get some. So that's not the only cool thing. Like I was saying earlier, Volcano God, many donations to the show. I'm going to show you guys here real quick. Let me see if I can pull this up here now. Is it an AD&D? No, it's not. It's not an AD&D. Is it a download? No, that's the wrong AD&D folder. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to share this with you guys. And these are not great pictures because they're not great pictures from a not great phone. But I'm going to try and show this to you. This is just kind of a teaser. Like, you remember back at Comic-Con, whichever Comic-Con, I guess San Diego's the big one. And they used to do like teaser only things that Adam Threshold does 0 to 9 twice D20s. Get them from him. By the way, this is not a paid endorsement. I bought these. He is not sponsoring my show or anything. All right, so let me pull that up and bring that over. And we'll look together at this. And I'm gonna bring the screen up. I can zoom in and out. Share screen. Okay, here we go. This is in one bin that I brought in. So we have that Wood Grain Swords and Wizardry. There's the new the One Ring role-playing game. I think it's the new one. A Grimtooth's Traps collection. A couple of different Call of Cthulhu's. Return to the Temple of Elemental Evil. Something from Hell from Steve Jackson Games. These VHS looking boxes, we're going to touch on those in a minute. Old School Essentials. There is a box for these, which in this photo may actually, you can see the box for these. There's Car Wars Arenas. I think that's some more Car Wars booklets under there. OD&D hardcover supplements that he had printed up on Etsy. On Lulu. What else? We got Age of Sharks, another Old School Essentials, Swords and Wizardry white box rules. So that was one. That's like, what we can kind of glance at one bin, and then a little bit more of that same bin. What's over there lurking behind it? Swords and Wizardry Monster Book, BFRPG, Swords and Wizardry Core Rules. I think that's some Wilderlands stuff there next to it. Somebody was asking about Wilderlands. Next, let's see. That's a different box. So we have this whole stack from... Now, a lot of stuff I have to go through and figure out what is what he got printed on Lulu, what he got print on demand from Drive-Thru RPG, and what's original. But here is this stack from this edge to the front of the Hollow World is all Metamorphosis Alpha stuff. Good evening, Mobius. So let's see what else is here. Castle Zagig, a TMNT and Other Strangeness. That's a first edition there. These are Dragon magazines. These are like later Dragon magazines, like in the 130s or 140s. Here's Core 3E, which I guess some people now consider classic Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, bless their hearts. If you're from the South, you know about Bless Their Hearts. Castles and Crusades, Player's Handbook, and Monsters and Treasure. It is thick, and it is with 2 C's. Thick. Thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. This is the 30th anniversary edition of Star Wars: A Role-Playing Game, and it is basically, it's the 2 core books that West End Games released. Now, West End Games lost the license, and I guess Fantasy Flight went to the people from WEG who did it and made a special arrangement. So that's a slipcase that's got the 2 core books in it. Some could go. Yes, we have talked about we have talked about some of these going into the little neighborhood libraries. This big brown orange book, I am not sure. This is the Grand Duchy of Karamikios next to it, but I think that is a DTRPG reprint. I'm almost certain of it. So I'm not sure what this big, thick book right here is. Thick with 2 C's. Let's see. To the north of that, come on. Zoom in. Barrowmaze, Highfell, Forbidden Caverns of, I don't know. The Traveler book. I'm pretty sure this is a DTRPG print. That's going right here. That Traveler book is staying here. P. Cybers, hello. Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, Swords and Wizardry Complete Rulebook. Man, if you're out there watching this, I had forgotten how into Swords and Wizardry you were there, Volcano God. And we move on. Here's a pile on my couch next to it. We have some D&D, the One Ring. This is all some 5e stuff. Not even sure what's going on with this. It's shrink wrapped. I don't know what it is. There's Black Marsh from Rob Conley, who occasionally stops by. And what else do we got? Let's see. Got to zoom all the way out. Come on. Is that it? Is that it? That. Yeah, so I thought I had taken more pictures out there, but there you go. That is a taste. That is just a sample. But there's a bit more. There's a bit more that I have to show you guys. So I got to bend over to pick this stuff up, and we're gonna stop sharing that. I don't mean I'm gonna stop sharing it. I mean I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. Calm down. No. Come back. Sit down. You're fine. You're fine. It's okay. It's all right. Okay. So, those VHS looking things that you guys saw, what those are, these, that's what you saw from the edge. These are Steve Jackson Games click case games from back in the day. Now, these are thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. These are thicker. Hey, Chris Sims, good to see you. Than the original releases from SJG. And I'm going to show you guys. Let me see if I can find it here. These are all shrink wrapped. I will talk to Volcano God and see if he's okay with us tearing into these to share them and do unboxings of them if you guys want that. Yeah, look at this farmer stand. I've been it took me probably 2 hours to get all the game stuff loaded in yesterday. But yeah. Talk about theocracy of the pale. Little Greyhawk joke for those who know. Let me see. Oh, perfect example here. Okay. So, an even better example. So somebody asked about what these ogre boxes were over here. So let me show you. Here is the SJG, the original from the 70s release of GEV, Ground Effect Vehicle, GEV. And you can see how thick it is or isn't. But the SJG re-release, again, is more thick. Also, it doesn't have a tab for hanging it from a hook in the store. It's more of a VHS tape thing. But that I have stacks of these SJG games to share with you guys, because a bunch of my boxes are only boxes and they're just like stuff full of random Car Wars or other war game counters. These, I think you can still get these. I will check before we do the shows. I think you can still get these from SJG. It's just that when they did the re-release, they kickstart. Everybody crowdfunds nowadays. Hasbro, $300 billion a year company. Hasbro kickstarted, well, they crowdfunded their re-release of Hero Quest. And sadly, I've not summoned the video. So everybody does that. So when they did this, they didn't put duets on them. They didn't build duets into these to hang on a spinny rack or in a game store rack. Oh, but no, I was going to mention when they did do the Kickstarter for these, they you were able to get them in bundles, like pledge $200, get like these 10 games or these 8 games or whatever. And buying them all separately now would cost you more, and you would be at the mercy of market availability. Volcano God went all in and got their like top tier package. So, you know, and there's a bunch of stuff in here. I don't know if we'll open Boat Wars, the Car Wars supplement. You know, 1-page bulge rules, which, I mean, this is literally just like a Grognard's, you know, we're going to play. We're in college. It's 1980. We both have a biology class at 3:00, but we're on campus for 90 minutes before then. Hey, I brought 1-page bulge. Let's sit in the quad and play a war game that we can knock out in 90 minutes. Okay. They couldn't sell a lightsaber. I'm not sure what that means, Michael Connor, but okay. But there's also some genuine role-playing games in here. Necromancer, guys. So there are actual role-playing games in here, and it's not just little war games. Those of you who've been with the show for a long time, and some of you may not out there. I mean, there may not be people out there who remember this. I got a new old stock mini game from Metagaming, which was the company that Steve Jackson was working for until they got into some financial back and forth and nonsense. I found on eBay for the princely sum, I think of $29.99 plus shipping, a still sealed copy of Lords of Under-Earth, or maybe it's Dragons of Under-Earth. It's the one that's not incredibly super rare and hyper expensive when you find it. It was like still sealed and shrink wrapped, and we did an opening that night. Like I took the shrink wrap off and we looked through it. So yes, there are mini game role-playing games. The awful green things from outer space. If you saw that lime green box, yes. So we have awful green things from outer space. So anyway, just to recap, Necromancer, Awful Green Things, 1-page bulge, Boat Wars, Gev, Ogre. And then we have another stack of stuff. And we've got so many more yet to see. Where am I going to put the new shelves to store all that good stuff over here? It'll be out of sight, unfortunately. I cannot have rafts of things on my studio floor. I need, like, I had this wonderful dream that and I'm not, guys, true talking time, okay? I'm not throwing anything on you guys. This is not like, come on, you could do this, you know. That's not what I'm saying. But I had this wonderful thought last night. What if I am trending in some way on YouTube that's not going to stop, and I get like 60 subs a day, like it just doesn't slow down, and I just turn around and like shortly after the first of the year I'm sitting at like 10,000 subs or something? How cool would that be? Because I mean, with the revenue and whatnot. Oh, Hasbro failed to kickstart a lightsaber. Okay. But anyway, and then I could get like an actual studio shed kind of area to do the videos in, and this could become a game room again. You know, I could have everything out there. It's a nice dream, but regardless, shelves have got to be in here, like bookshelves, and that's the last place that I can put them, because I can't just be stepping over shit. I cannot be weaving through mazes of stuff. I just got this under control. And there's still the stuff you saw pictures of is still out in the den. There's still a ton in the car I have to get out tonight. So you see my hashtag first world problems. So yeah. So more mini games. Raid on Iran. Which for the longest time I thought, well, this is dated. Back when I would read about it, I'm like, hostage situation's over. They just got problems. I don't know that Raid on Iran will ever go out of style. This one is opened. This one, the shrink wrap is off of. So we can kind of pop the case. I think we can pop the case open. How do we pop the case open? Psych! It's sonically welded shut. There's nothing in it. When do I decide to okay, so here we go. Here's what we get. So here's our click case. They throw in a couple of dice. There's another little baggie. That's probably for dice or maybe counters. And there's our booklets. Our booklets, our maps, our counters, and a errata card. So, you know, here's our stuff. Here's our stuff we get. Oh, and then there's a charts and tables sheet. So that's generally the contents. When do I decide to let games go? When they began to look stale after a while. Looks doesn't have a bunch to do with it. I let stuff go if I'm not playing it and I know someone else will enjoy it. An overriding factor, and I hate to say this though, of deciding to let games go is oftentimes monetary. I would love to have a set of TSR's Tactics. I have no practical use for it. The rules are unwieldy to say the least. The modern rules cover up to like M48 and M60 tanks and T55 tanks. possibly T-62s, but mostly the rules are for World War II skirmish scale wargaming. It was written by Gary Gygax and Don Lowry. I bought a set to give to Gary because he lost his set. Paul Stormberg bought Gary a set to replace his set because he was watching the same conversation that I was with Gary when I asked Gary about Tractics. So he got it replaced. So I was stuck with a set of Tractics I paid $60 for on eBay. It's now prohibitively expensive, but when the price started to rise, I needed to buy Christmas presents. And so I had to sell it. So that is, sometimes money gets tight and I have to let things go. It has nothing to do with not loving a game. It has nothing to do with not wanting a game, but I just have to let stuff go. And then there's a lot of things that I bought. Like there was a period when we had a local bookstore that was really my FLGS, because she constantly got people bringing in for store credit beat up old role-playing game stuff. It is where I got my True First Dungeon Master's Guide, True First Players, and True First Monster Manual, and some other odds and ends. And there were just a ton of things. I'd go in and be like, yeah, I've got like $50 store credit. You want $2.50 for each of these? Hey, I'm back. I'm back. Can you guys see me again? Can you hear me again? I'm back. I hope everything's working. Can you all see me? I hope. Hello? Yeah, I'm getting the low bandwidth indication in StreamYard, so hopefully it'll come back. I don't remember what we were talking about. We're just kind of going over the click case games. Undead, which is a vampire hunting click case game. So I've got that. Crash City, which is a supplement for Car Wars. Guys, there's so much Car Wars supplement. No, we can't see or hear you. Yeah. Hopefully it'll clear up. It looks like on my end it's clearing up. And of course, Car Wars, Click Case Car Wars. And Truck Stop. Truck Stop, which is a semi-truck supplement for Car Wars. So we'll just wait till you guys. Am I synced back up? Do you guys are we good to go now? Yeah. I was pixelated. So I'm good to go. Okay. And I've still got 18 viewers. Thank you, guys. There was a day when, like, if I lost my connection, it'd be like, well, both of my viewers will be gone. Bye. So let me see. But wait, there is still more. There is still more. So what do we have? And again, guys, I've got stuff in the car. I got to get out. All right. I've got stuff in the car. I still have to get out. So let's keep going, shall we? I have this little jewel. This is the Star Wars adventure game. This is the introductory set for West End Games Star Wars, the role-playing game. It comes with maps, paper maps, cardboard stand-up terrain, and paper counters. And it is really spiffy, and it is 100% complete. This is 100% complete. And I'm looking forward to taking a deep dive into that. And then there's a couple of interesting pieces down here. Hang on. I'm being very careful moving the mic back so you guys don't get the industrial music sounds while I'm swinging it back and forth. But at the same time, I didn't want to slam my head into it, so, bending over. So you guys decide what's worse, having to hear maybe a slight creak and a pop as I move the boom back, or a boom as I smack my head into it. Greetings, Potato of Earth. Chris, good to see you. Let me see. So what else? We're at the end of the beginning, by the way. We're coming to the end of the beginning. We're not. This is not the beginning of the end. I have never seen this except in janky PDF form. This is Nighthawks. This is the ship-to-ship combat game for Star Frontiers. What really should have been in the set, just the basic stuff is in here, I think. Yeah, there's just some very basic stuff in here. There's no ship counters. There's no dice. There's no dice crayon. Just the UPF book, the campaign book. So yeah, very little stuff in there. But of course, we can't have Star Frontiers without having a core set of Star Frontiers. That's right. So we have this lovely core set of Star Frontiers, and I wonder what all is in here. Okay, we have chits. Ladies and gentlemen, we have chits. We have some character sheets. We have some blank character sheets. We have two lovely core rule books. We have our spaceport map. We have our Starship and Volturnus map. And of course, SF0 Crash on Volturnus. So we have a lovely, nice, semi-complete, mostly complete, I will say, Star Frontier set. Again, no dice. That's life. More space stuff, guys. There's more space stuff. I've got space for space stuff. And what is it? Well, let's see. It is more WEG Star Wars, a couple of well-loved West End Games Star Wars RPG hardbacks. Look at that. So looking forward into doing a deep dive into WEG Star Wars. We're going to talk about that. Maybe we can compare that with D20 Star Wars. You know, it blows my mind that WotC let that license get away. They pushed D20 Star Wars so hard, even I would say as hard as they were pushing D&D, and yet they let it go to Fantasy Flight. Oh, well. And finally, the end of the beginning over here, we have the pièce de résistance of this part. Now, what I'm about to show you, someone was asking earlier, and I was holding court about this. I'm going to rewind a little bit. Stuff gets gotten rid of. First of all, if I need the money, if times are desperate and I need the money, and that happens, that happens to me, guys. I mean, it just does. I have to let stuff go. Again, as I was saying before I got cut off, I would love to have a set of TSR's Tactics. I think it's a neat game. I don't know that I'd ever play it, but I'd love to have a set of it. Don't point me to a pirated PDF of it. I've got a janky PDF scan around here somewhere, I'm sure. But it really just comes down to practicality. The other is, do I just no longer need it? And the final factor is, do I need the space? I'll need to jump the washer and dryer. Modern problems require modern solutions. The Dungeon Minister has it right. But there is something here, the last thing we're going to look at for now, because y'all saw the pictures. We've got bins to go through. I think that there is some stuff here that I think is going to make Ricky Maru like weep with joy. I have a stack of stuff that he is just going to be like elated to see me show off. But anyway, what I'm about to show you, first of all, I don't consider it mine. I am keeping it in my house for someone who is moving. So, while I have permission to part this stuff out as I see fit, insofar as I split any profits with the man himself, Michael Connor, I have more hero stuff than you can possibly imagine. Are you buying? I don't know. But what I'm about to show you guys is not for sale because it is not mine. It is in my house on loan. It is on loan to the Delver's Dungeon. The collector's edition of Metamorphosis Alpha. This is a massive, massive coffee table set of Metamorphosis Alpha. I don't want to mishandle this by trying to lean over and hold it. But this is something. This is just an amazing set. There are maps in here. This is from Goodman Games. I'll read the back blurb. I have a drive-through RPG print of Met Alpha in the hall. Okay, there is a Met Alpha print in the hall. I would never game with this. Most of my stuff is, if I don't game with it, then it doesn't serve a purpose. That's another decider of whether or not it goes. And I say most of my stuff. I have an OD&D set, and I have the big stack of loose OD&D books over here. These are autographed by Gary and Dave and Tracy Lesh and Jim Ward, Rob Kuntz. No need to game with those. But meeting Dave, meeting Gary, and getting their autographs on them makes them curios that are important to me. So I keep them for that purpose. The white box set is just kind of cool to have. The wood grain set, which is hiding behind stuff currently, is a gift from my gaming group one year back in 2014. When I say wood grain set, I don't mean OD&D wood grain from 1974. They would have had to have mortgaged houses to buy that for me. Yes, there's some Fantasy Hero in there, Michael. Yes, this is Kickstarter back, Mobius. But I have OD&D aplenty to play. I have PDFs. I have bought PDFs, so I can play OD&D. So these are curios, and I keep them even though I don't play with them. My AD&D True First prints, I actually have AD&D books to game with. It's neat to have those. But by and large, everything over here, like when I got my, those of you who played Hero Quest at Guac, when I got Hero Quest, I was like, I can't wait to play this. Yes, it does, Tonka. It is, in my opinion, it's like having it's like having Jack Kirby and Stan Lee's autograph on low-numbered Spider-Man comics. But I will play with the books that I have. I will use them. They are gaming products. They are not art rarities to be placed on a shelf and never handled. This, some people that got this might use this every Saturday. This is gifted to me to be kept securely for Volcano God. It will, because I can get Med Alpha in PDF if I want it. There's a physical copy, and you guys saw that big, thick Starship Warden book in one of the pictures. I've got enough Med Alpha. This is for looking at, not breaking out with the Cheeto fingers and the cans of Mellow Yellow and the slices of pizza on Saturday night. That's not what this is for. We're still going to do a deep dive on it. We're going to do an unboxing on this at the appropriate time. This is the Kickstarter boxed edition. The box contains the hardcover edition with dust jacket. So look ahead to that. Look ahead to that, guys, because this is coming. This is coming. So I'm hyped about it. That is a taste of what is in store, of the content that we have got coming on the show for old school deep dives. Now, there's a lot of stuff. Michael Connor has been nattering me about Hero System. I probably have 3 linear feet of Hero System 5th and 6th. And that's not counting what I already had. There may be like 5 linear feet of Hero System books. I'm not lying. Those I don't know much about a deep dive on those. Explaining how to build a Hero System character, God, that would be a year's worth of content, not in a good way. So yeah, there's stacks and stacks of Hero System books. We'll look at the core book and talk about it a little bit. But honestly, I would like if I had Champions and Champions 2 and Champions 3 villains. I've got as old as Champions 4. I think it would be a fun talk about, but otherwise not. There's a bunch of 5e and so on, just stacks and stacks of 5e that we're not going to go on about. It's just I'm not doing a show. Look, 5e is so new that deep diving 5e would be like explaining cell phones to a 19-year-old. You know, it's like, you can touch the screen and makes it. You know, we know. So yeah, I'm not going to deep dive 5e, but do I look for the special convention modules to buy? If by that you mean the TSR convention modules, like the tournament modules, like the pastel covered Lost Temicon, which I've covered once before on the show. We may cover again when we do the Hidden Shrine of Temicon, or the green cover Ghost Tower of Inverness. I look for them in that, like, if I find them in a local used bookstore and they don't know what they have, I will snap them up. But like if I went to GaryCon and there were a dealer there who had them for sale, he'd know what he had. Those books would be like $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 grand, right? Silence, Michael Connor. Silence. No deep dive of Wild Beyond the Lich Side. Yeah, no deep dive on Tasha's book of things or whatever it is. Or Alan Canning, if you mean, do I look for modules that are like being released just at cons? Not for collectability's sake, because the smaller titles, yeah, okay. So here's the thing. If I was at a con and I saw something like that and it was reasonably priced, and here's the important thing, and I liked it and I liked the content, like I would buy something from Errol like that. I think Errol Otis is a swell guy. He's an awesome dude. I would absolutely snap up something that Errol Otis was putting out. Would I grab every bit of FOMO bait? No. Let me tell you what. Back about 15 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, there were a couple of dudes who are regulars over at the Akium who self-published. They did a kitchen sink module publication, which is good. They used all Wizards of the Coast IP. They called it a Dungeons and Dragons module. They mentioned Greyhawk. They formatted it like that, which is less good because they sold it for cash. Now, real politics, sticking a finger in WotC and Hasbro's eye is okay with me, and I've always been okay with it. Oh, sorry, Chris. FOMO, fear of missing out. Hey, look at, no, I'm not going to. Oh, look at this special Ace Pineapple Brew. Limiting this. This is only from, only from July to September. Oh, I got to go to the package store and get some Ace Pineapple. Actually, that's really bad because I'm about to blame something on Ace. But you know what? Here. Special Jones brand laser pointers. We're selling a limited number of these, and the limited number is 100,000. And this is no different from any other laser pointer you could get at an office supply store. Okay. But they hype it up that if you don't buy one right then, you're never going to get a chance. But FOMO kind of creates this false sense of urgency. Like, I have to buy one. I have to buy one. Well, why? Because they're limited. Do you really need it? No, but if I don't buy one now, I'll miss my chance. You know, I think there's a lot of people whose gaming shelves are probably full of FOMO items. You know, limited edition miniatures, limited edition adventures. No, this is pineapple flavored, loser. And it's delicious, thank you. There is our Lotus art in Arduin. But anyhow, yeah, the offerance reference, whatever in my head, Luther, sorry. So anyhow, so these guys put out an AD&D module. And they put on the cover the last official Advanced Dungeons & Dragons module to ever be published. That is a blatant lie. Official carries a lot of weight. The last official Advanced Dungeons & Dragons module to be published, the last official new Advanced Dungeons & Dragons module to be published is Dungeon Module L3 Deep Dwarven Delve, and it came in the Silver Anniversary boxed set in 1999. So they got a big fat C&D slapped on them by Wizards of the Coast, and they stopped selling it after they'd sold. I am of the opinion that they were doing exactly what they wanted to do. They knew what they were doing, and that they'll trickle them out. I need an easy $300. Sell one on eBay. So that's a delicious treat, Michael Connor. After what Marvel has done in the past couple of years, my FOMO is seeming, yeah. Take care of yourself, Dungeon Minister. So, and you know, someone mentioned Marvel Comics. The 90s were big. That was a big FOMO deal from Marvel. Who here remembers variant covers, hologram covers, foil covers, autographed editions, limited edition covers? I got to have a copy to read. A couple of these are going to be worth big bucks, so I want a couple of the, you know. This was in the days when comics were still $1.75, $1.50. And people would spend $10, $15 to get one book because you got to get them all. Right? You got to get them all. So if I see something, to very long, drawn out answer to your question, Alan, if I see something that looks good to me, look, I don't care that there's 900,000 copies of it in print. What did I say all last week into the beginning of this week was my favorite D&D module? B2 Keep on the Borderlands. You know how many millions of copies of that probably got printed, and how many hundreds of thousands are probably still knocking around? One of the rarer D&D modules is ST1 Up the Garden Path. It's awful. It's terrible. We're going to do a deep dive on it one night and discuss its absolute goddamn awfulness. I have a PDF of it. You can find it if you go looking for it on the internet. It's bad. That is one module that I will say to collectors, you know what? You can have it. Keep it shut up in your put it in a acid-free backing board in a nitrogen-sealed vault. Make it never see the light of day again. That is one that there is potentially a lot of FOMO, but it's trash. If I was at a con and someone was selling a minty copy of ST1 Up the Garden Path, and I didn't know for sure that I couldn't turn around and flip it for whatever I paid for it, plus a couple $100, I wouldn't touch it. Probably because if it was minty, it would cost thousands of dollars. But the thing about it is FOMO does not equal good. Good is subjective, but I just wouldn't mess with it. And I remember, so here's the story. We'll do a little mini deep dive, and we'll do a deep dive on ST1 because I want you guys to suffer like I've suffered. I've suffered to learn the secrets of ST1, and now it's your turn. Well, soon it will be your turn. But ST1, back in the 1980s, here's the background on it. Back in the 1980s, the UK government was big into urban renewal. And to that end, now how many here are familiar with the phrase, it's grim up north? There were a lot of towns and cities in the north of England that were under a tremendous economic strain in the 80s. Well, to put a big smiley face on everything, the UK government said, well, we're going to do some urban renewal, and we're going to have garden shows, garden and flower shows in these little otherwise rundown towns. And somehow TSR got wrapped up in this project, and they had a booth at the National Urban Renewal Garden Show thingamajig. And they created a module. They made like 400 modules, sold like 100, and the rest were presumed pulped. And I remember reading about the history behind it, because there's more than the number sold now floating around, because the original author found some, and the article I was reading about it said, unfortunately, another box of them was discovered in 2000, whatever. Unfortunately, we found some more. I mean, that's how poor of a module it is. A gigantic horse behind me. Where is this gigantic horse at? Is the horse in the room with us now, Todd? Is the horse talking to you, Todd? Yeah, that is the plot for the movie Hot Fuzz. You're not wrong. I mean, you're absolutely not wrong. I do not have my bikini, and I'm supposed to pause and show you the picture. I don't have any. I mean, if you're talking about the stuff that I'd already showed you guys pictures of, guys, I haven't documented this stuff. No, even the earth rejected them, Michael. They tried to bury them, and they just burst out of the ground. I've told this story before. Now, not about ST1, but speaking of landfills and stuff, this is right shoulder horse. No. I've got a My Hero Academia Funko, Dragon Magazine CD-ROM set, AD&D, Tiamat, Ogre, Holmes Dice Set reproduction, Art and Arcana, Motoko Kusanagi, Macross Veritech, Han Solo, Star Wars Laserdisc set, Purple Wizard hat, Vampire comic, Tracy Lesh painting. Stop me when I get to something. Luther's inside. He's got a mini laptop. Soon Bill's Hall will be mine. Anyway, ST1 rarities. Yeah, no, I just I'm not compelled. Huge wooden rabbit. Whatever's in front of the white book. This stuff, that's a little pinch pot that my daughter made. There's some decimal dice. Eye of the Beholder computer game box, which actually just has data cards for some strategic flying war game. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff yet to show you guys. We can do it tomorrow before we play Gamma World is what we'll do. So yes, I have quite the pile of things still yet to go through. And I think I'm going to need a bookshelf on that wall over there to put stuff on. It's just I don't know. Thank you, Doom Sword. Thank you. Oh my God. Yeah, I need a haircut. Hey, speaking of it, I can't believe this has crept up on us like this. On the I gotta look at the calendar now. So let's see. Saturday the 20th. Saturday the 20th. Yours truly, I will be appearing at QuestCon Orlando. I will be doing a speaking thing. I don't think they're going to let me stream it, but if you happen to be in Orlando, I will find out what day, or rather what time that day, because it's just one day. It's just one day for a con. Your son discovered your Eldar? Yes. I mean, we would prefer they were Marines, right? Deathwing Terminators. Or Tau. I would accept Tau. Start throwing the commie insults at me. But yeah, I will be at QuestCon on the 20th. I will be speaking, and then I will be hanging out with Tracy Lesh at his booth on Artist Alley. So you can come, and if you happen to be in Central Florida, swing by and say hello, bring something to sign. I'll sign it for you. I might have modules to sell. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Oh, you know what? Here, I'll link that, you guys, because I can do that. I have the power. You can check them out and see when I'm supposed to be there. So, because I haven't heard from them. This is at the Holiday Inn and Suites on Caravan Court here in Orlando. I kind of know where that's at. That's over in that iDrive sort of area. Sort of area. It's actually off Grand National. But anyway, that's where I will be. Hanging out with Tracy Lesh. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Well, let me film. I will talk to them. I will ask them about it. Because as far as I know, I'm going to get up and I'm going to talk about meeting Gary and becoming an RPG guy and how I started role-playing games. And I'm going to pimp the website, or pimp the YouTube channel, rather, and my guide key business. And then I'm going to take questions. And I have to fill up an hour. So... but if they let me film it and ye old 4K camera will do the trick, then that's fine. But then I also don't know about the audio pickup on that. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. There was something. Oh, I know what else I was. Let's see. Let's go over here to Y'all Tube. And I'm going to have a quick gander. All right, guys. Dungeon Minister is at 893 subscribers. He's 107 subscribers away from hitting 1,000 subs. I'm going to copy his channel doohickey here. Pull a Ricada and stream the show. You know what? Maybe Tracy and I'll talk to Tracy. Maybe we can do like an ad hoc stream from his booth. If they'll let us do that, that would be fun. So there's 15 of you out there. And if any of you are not subscribed, first of all, if you're not subscribed to me, subscribe to my channel. But if you're not subscribed to the Dungeon Minister channel, subscribe over there also. This was funny because my channel blew up yesterday, as I said. It blew up and it went to 1,226. When I went to bed, I took a picture with my phone. I'm like, I don't want to forget 1,226. That was in one day, 60 something subs. From when I got up this morning at 8 to now, I've gotten 2. I've gotten 2 subscribers. So it went like 66 subscribers in one day. My God, if this trend continues, 2 subscribers. And I'm reminded of that scene in The Simpsons when Marge is looking to start her own business. So she goes to like a small business fair in the Civic Center. And we meet Disco Stew for the second time. And it's like start your own disco. And he's got a graph chart out and it's like year ending 1976. He's like, and you know, the graph is going up. His popularity of disco over time, but it stops in 1976. He's like, if these numbers continue to rise, hey, I just feel like, you know, my God, 66 a day. If I continue to get 66, I could beat 10,000 in like a couple of years. That's no. YouTube's like, that's not how any of this works. That's not how any of this works at all. But hopefully some more folks will sub to the channel and that'll be awesome. 2 a day. Yeah. 2 a day means 700 a year. Yeah. I mean, you guys remember last summer when I was talking about, oh, we're getting closer, you know? And then we just slowly but surely just crawled in through the fall and the winter. And then one day in March, or April, it was late March. Pow. 34 members a day over 2 days. Yeah. But then if we take in today, it kind of takes a nosedive. But you know what, guys? I've said this before and I'll say it again. I'd do it if there was one of you out there watching, because I care about you guys. I do. I was thinking about that today. I was looking at the Discord, and I was flipping back through my private messages, and I was seeing where people had messaged me and so on. And a couple of folks that I have not responded to on private messages, I reached out to. I mean, there are people who, KDMH, who here, hands up if you remember KDMH being on when we were on during the day. Okay. You know, I mean, she was an early supporter of the show. I never want to, I don't want to turn around one day, say in a year, let's say in a year I had 100,000 subs. I won't. All right. But let's say I had 100,000 subs a year. I would not want to turn around and be like, Tonka who? Chris who? Michael what? Oh, yeah, I remember you guys talking. I never want to be that. All right. I never want to be that way. I want you guys to be able to talk to me on the Discord. Yes, we have a Discord. I'll share it now. I almost got in trouble last night for forgetting to share it. Yeah, Paul, she actually, Katie was at Free RPG Day. She played D&D and Tales from the Loop. She was there all day. She's doing all right. But see, that's the kind of community that I have. We know each other, all right? I leave comments on some YouTubers. Let me tell you, some of the best YouTubers, as far as reaching back to you and saying something to you, are the car repair guys. They have hundreds of thousands of viewers. I think Junkyard Diggs has like 750,000 viewers. And I've posted silly shit in their comments, and they've commented back to me. Like, okay, what I found in what have been given in role-playing game books, they got in car parts one day, and they were freaking out as they were walking through this garage of cars and parts and tools. I mean, this guy was kind of a hoarder. So they would like open up a car door, and there on the back seat are like TJ Maxx bags full of socket sets, still in the blister packs that the guy had never taken out. And there were like those boutique model cars that are mounted on plaques and stuff like that. Yeah, Diesel Tech Ron. But they went through all this stuff, and when they opened the barn and were walking through, they were like, "Oh my God, look at this! Oh my God, look at!" And they were laughing and having a good time. And I left a comment that I didn't expect them to comment back on. I shouldn't say I didn't expect. I left them a comment, and they themselves responded to me, not just like "yup" or "thanks" or "we love you too, guy" or anything like that. In my comment, I said, "Hey, I'm a nerd. If I found a used bookstore for role-playing games or vintage video games or miniatures or something like that, I would make a video about it, and I would be doing exactly what you guys were doing." And I got a nice detailed response from them. Very nice guys. They have 750,000 subs, and Kevin or Mook or Kevin's brother, whose name escapes me right now, took the time to sit down and respond to me and leave a very nice response and give me a thumbs up and give me a little heart on my comment. That's all you have to do. No matter how big you get, you can't forget individual people. It bothers me deeply in my soul when I look up and someone has made an incisive comment on a video and it's 2 months ago and I've forgotten it. I will go back and look. If you're like, when Bill was talking about Keep on the Borderlands, I said that this was my favorite module too, and I never saw a response. Go back and check. I promise I will dig through and find your comments, because I care about you guys. And I never want to not care about you guys. I never want to look down and say, oh, I lost 50 subs today. So what? So what? You know? I care about you guys. 1 sub, 1,000 subs, someday 10,000, someday 100,000. I don't know that we'll ever get another 1,000 people, much less 10,000 or whatever, to sit and listen to me talk about vintage Dungeons and Dragons endlessly, day in and day out. I don't know. But I do know this. I'll do it for you guys. All right? I'll do it for you guys. Always. Because this started off in the shadow of Andromeda Strain and people feeling cut off from the rest of the world. And I said, I got a webcam and I will not shut the fuck up. So you don't have to feel alone. So people didn't have to feel alone. People whose gaming groups, whose weekly trips to the FLGS were gone indefinitely. I do this for you guys. So let me thank those who do stuff for the show. And we're going to wrap here in a little bit, unless you guys have got anything, any comments, any concerns, any super chats, anything like that. So thank you, Joshua Garlock, Lord Corion, Ricky Maru, Mobius, Kevin Reynolds, Doomsword, Mark Simpson, Damien, James F. Keck, William Smith, the Dungeon Minister. Go sub to his channel. Manny Wall. Manny, please come back. We miss you. Mark Corey, Kevin Wood. I've known Kevin for 30 plus years. He's a good friend. Todd Sharp, Carnivore Farmer. Rob Beatulus. Jeremy Rule. Miss you too, Jeremy. Bo Ganora, Mikey Mank, Sky, the kick-ass fantasy writer Hernstrom, and Pete Sullivan. Thank you all very much. And if you're one of those new subs, and you want to support the channel in a material way, hit us up on Patreon, on Subscribestar, or you can drop something in the tin cup at PayPal. And it's all down there. It's all right down there, and there are links in the description too. So that's going to about do it for me, guys. That's going to about do it for me. I'm going to wrap up. And I'll just I'll catch the last of your comments here. Replay Shapiro at 1.5. I have some people who are like, I have to slow your streams down. And then other people are like, you got more pauses than William Shatner reading a Pinter play. I have to speed you up. So I don't know. Tonka Todd's concerned about that giant horse. It seems that only he can see. I see it, but it's not a horse. Look at my horse. My horse is amazing. It's a kelp. Yeah, it's a kelpie. I've had a good run. That's my thought on that. But she's slimy and made out of seaweed. I said I've had a good run. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Tonka. And I think on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap. Although, like, I hate... Back in the day, back when I first started this, if I looked up and saw 17 people watching, I would like not stop streaming. I'd just be like, find something to talk about. Find 17 people watching. This is amazing. And I still think it's amazing. But I mean, I've been going for like 35 minutes now. And the missus is holding a movie for me. So, yeah, you figured me out. I got a Vanta Black My Little Pony behind me. Tonight we peaked at 22. Tonight we still got 17 folks out there watching, but tonight we peaked at 22. I don't think it's going to be going higher than that. I'm having more fun watching the Dungeon Minister's metrics right now. He's like 893, 894. So I'm done. I am done now. You guys have a lovely evening. Listen, you know what's going to come next week? Bob Antone, if you are watching right now, Bob, next week they're going to be closing credits made with the song that you gave me, Owlbear. Next week we start and we're going to have show closing credits. You guys take care. I'm stepping out. I love you all. Good night.